Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm doing good. My name is Sandra. I'm going to be your provider today. And do you prefer to be called Jennifer?
I prefer to be called Jen, but either is fine.
Okay. All right, Miss Jen. Today, I will be conducting a cultural interview. And the reason behind me conducting this interview is just to get a better understanding about your background, so I can form a better treatment plan of how I can help you and we can strengthen our relationship.
Sure.
Okay. So I'm just going to review a little bit about Jennifer's history. Jennifer is a 28-year-old single African-American woman who identifies as heterosexual. She is a single woman who has recently been diagnosed with moderate anxiety and is here today for concerns of depression. After reviewing Jennifer's social and cultural history, her provider is concerned that social life is contributing to her diagnosis and her own mental health by worsening her depression. This visit will explore ways to motivate Jennifer and to collaborate in exploring her needs for managing depression. Miss Jennifer, what brings you in here today?
So what brings me in today is that I've recently been diagnosed with moderate anxiety a couple months ago. But lately I have been feeling really depressed, and I decided that I should come in and get checked before it gets worse. I was pushing it back because I really didn't think it was that serious at first.
And at times, people may have different ways of describing their problems to family, friends, or others in the community. How would you describe your depression to them?
I would just say I've been a bit nervous, to tell my family and friends. I don't want them to really be worried about me because my mom worries about me a lot. Mental health care is something that we don't even usually consider, especially in a Black community, because we're told to be so strong. But I would generally describe it to me as not feeling well or not being in the mood, just overall like waking up and not feeling like myself. And that's literally out the norm for me.
And what troubles you most about your depression?
What troubles me most is that I don't feel motivated to do anything anymore. Most tasks take a lot of pushing me just to get them even completed, and my hobbies are not even enjoyable anymore.
So it must have took a lot for you to come in today.
Indeed.
Well, I'm glad that you're taking the right steps to getting the care that you need to help treat your depression.
Thank you.
And why do you think this is happening to you? What do you think is currently causing your depression?
I have been experiencing a lot of losses in personal relationships, and I did experience one of the financial breadwinners of my family. I'm dealing with stress on top of losing personal ties while having to work and make sure my family's straight and bills are paid. And it's not easy, especially when we're already having to deal with moderate anxiety that I have.
And what would you say or how would others in your family, friend group, or community, what would you say they think would be causing your depression?
I'm not quite sure that they even know that I'm depressed because I'm always the upbeat one and laughing all the time. But they have noticed that I've been a bit more withdrawn and I don't show up for many family outings. But they think the cause is due to me just working extra at work.
And what exactly do you currently do for work at this time?
So right now, I'm actually a travel nurse. But as you know, being a nurse, that comes with being underpaid, working 12-hour shifts, short staff. So it's a lot, especially like I said, I have anxiety as well. So it's piling up on each other.
So it could be a little overwhelming at times.
Very overwhelming.
And are there any kind of support that makes your mental state better, such as support from family, friends, or others?
It does. I can appreciate when my friends have outings. When they come see me, I go see them and we check on each other and see how we're doing. I have not fully disclosed to them exactly what I'm feeling, but I do appreciate them listening when I do decide to talk to them.
It's nice that they're there to be a listening ear. And are there any kind of stresses that make your mental state worse, such as money, family problems, relationships?
The stress that comes from knowing that I have to work and pick up extra shifts on top of my anxiety, on top of staff shortages, it just really adds to my stress. And I'm already dealing with, trying to mend personal relationships. I live alone, and at times I really just want help and company. I think that living alone sometimes, I don't have access to a lot of people. It just makes me more depressed.
And how long have you been living by yourself?
I've honestly been living by myself for about 4 years now, since I've been out of college.
Oh, so it's been quite a while now.
Yeah. I mean, I like my space, but with the depression, it just seems like the walls are closing in.
And for you, what are the most important aspects of your background or identity?
For me, the most important aspects of my identity as an African American single woman, I would say, is resilience. I grew up in a low-income portion of Fayetteville, North Carolina, and not many people there went to college or even finished high school. And like I said, I'm currently, working as a full-time registered nurse. So.
And regarding your identity, I know you mentioned that being a minority has affected your access to mental health care. So how exactly, or how would you describe the difficulties that being a minority has made in relation to access to mental health care or pursuing mental health care?
I would say it's kind of it just made the process more drawn out and a little difficult because, like I said, I am the only one currently in my family and social group that has even considered, mental health care because it's more of a taboo in the Black community, and most people just seek help at church. So it just took me a little more kick in my butt to actually say, let me try this out.
And are there any aspects of your background or identity that are causing other concerns or difficulties for you?
Finding out how to tell my family and friends that my mental health is declining when it's not something that they really consider that I should even get treatment for. So that's.
Well, you're headed in the right direction. Coming into the office today is the right steps to get mental health treatment. So
Well, thank you. I'm trying.
And at times people have different ways of dealing with their problems or coping with depression.
Mm-hmm.
What have you done currently or in the past to help cope with your depression?
I've tried many distracting techniques such as traveling, trying new activities, working out, doing hobbies, as I said, such as shopping or attending outings with my friends. But I still feel depressed. I've even tried essential oils like lavender.
Okay, so it's not even trying different things. I have heard lavender can be good, but it's nice that you've at least tried other ways to see what works for you and what's not working for you, and that you're able to acknowledge that you may need further treatment.
Yeah.
What you're doing. So in the past, what kinds of treatment, help, or advice or healing have you sought for your depression? Have you tried anything or visited a therapist, doctor, or healer?
I have not seen a therapist, but I really want to before just starting medication for depression because I'm a holistic person. I don't really like meds. Maybe therapy would be beneficial. I have only seen a palm reader, but that was more so to get help with my anxiety.
And did you, so you said the palm reader more so only helps with the anxiety aspect?
Yeah, versus depression.
And has anything prevented you from getting the help you need, such as money, work, family commitments? I know you mentioned how mental health care is not normalized in your community. How has that affected you?
Initially, it was the fear of being judged by my family and friends that prevented me from receiving help in the first place. My manager saw a slack in my performance and called me into her office and asked if there was anything she could do. She let me know that the facility that I work at and the insurance that I get from there offers mental health care services and free therapy. I felt some sort of support at the time, decided to come here to discuss my options for treatment. The next step, since my family and peers don't know.
And what kind of help do you think would be most useful for you at this time for your depression?
I think I like to start with therapy first, as I said before, instead of like medications. I also came to see if I could get a true diagnosis on depression to make sure this is exactly what I'm experiencing before I label myself with depression. I just know that I feel sad and stressed a lot of the time.
And I'll be able to provide you resources and refer you to therapists to start the therapy process if you're interested.
Okay.
Right. And are there any other kinds of help that your family, friends, or other people have suggested that would be helpful for you now?
No, I usually look online to find resources on what I can do. For example, I really like this podcast called Therapy for Black Girls, which is ran by licensed therapists. It also helped encourage me to seek treatment today.
That's nice. I'm glad that you came in today. So I see that you said you like to listen to podcasts, so social media has been a good medium for you in finding resources.
Yes, social media has. There are positive things on there, than what people think are negative. But yeah, and they have different great platforms as well. So that's how I found that.
Okay, that's good. In addition to the therapy referrals, I'll see if there's any local or community resources that I can provide for you as well.
Okay, thanks.
And have you been concerned about this? And is there anything that we can do to provide you with the care that you need?
Yes, I am concerned. As I said, it's been an ongoing issue for me the last few months, and nothing I have tried has really helped relieve it. So I'm thinking maybe, as I said before, I can get the diagnosis by y'all to see if this is actually what it is. And if it is, I want to seek treatment to get me help to move past this phase that I'm currently feeling. I'm very open to receiving professional help now.
And we'll be able to, provide a screening for you today to see where you are on the scale for depression. Like I said before, we can provide referrals for therapy resources, and I'll look for local or community sources I can give to you as well. And regards to therapy, would you prefer in-person or telehealth for your lifestyle?
I prefer in person.
In person. Okay, so I'll look for therapists that primarily do in-person therapy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And do you currently have any other questions?
No, I think this about sums everything up. Thank you for listening.
You're welcome. And I'll give you my information, for follow-ups and just keep in touch
Okay.
with how treatment plan is going.
That sounds great.
Okay. All right. And for the conclusion, some differences that could impact care between Jennifer and I is cultural background. I'm Nigerian American, and culturally, our upbringing may be a little different from what we saw growing up. Being that I did not live in a predominantly African American community and was raised as a first generation Nigerian American. Though we are culturally different, the stigma for receiving mental health care is similar between our communities, and is something that I can relate to. To better help my understanding of our cultural differences, asking questions around social relationships and upbringing that contribute to the reason for her visit can help strengthen the client-patient relationship. Thank you, Jen.
You're welcome, Ms. Ohadugha.
Alrighty. I'll see you in a little bit.
Okay, thank you.